finger,
yeah,
and then lick this one.
Very funny. Anyway,
but yeah,
thanks.
You can't tell anything from tasting it.
While I wash my mouth out, Dougal and the rest of the team are setting off to find one of the clues to why this is the hottest place on Earth. Apparently, it's all to do with why these salt pans came to be here in the first place. We're driving across one of the lowest places on planet Earth, 120 meters below sea level. So low, in fact, that when sea levels were higher tens of thousands of years ago, this was all ocean. And some of the salt we see today results from evaporation when those oceans dried up. But the main reason is what lies beneath us, a huge volcanic engine drawing salty groundwater from the nearby Red Sea and pushing it through the surface layer. And the most incredible thing is that Dougal finds the volcanic engine is still running.
Believe it or not, this shallow mound behind me is the world's lowest subaerial volcano. And it's very few geologists get the opportunity to see this in the flesh. So I'm really excited. First evidence we're going to see of the dramatic situation happening beneath our feet.
As Dougal's team reach the edge of the crater, it's clear this is no ordinary volcano. Like the surface of an alien planet, Dalol is crowded with ridges and towers of crystals, and pockmarked with hissing gas vents and pools of concentrated acid. Our scientists will need to treat this place with respect.
Very, very quick safety briefing is pretty important about where we're going. You've got to follow the Afar guide. Sifa here comes here quite regularly. He was up a couple of, I don't know, say a year or so ago. He stepped on what he thought was a fairly solid surface, went straight through, and this was the effect.
So, when Dougal sets off to explore the volcano system, he takes Trip Dr. Muckle with him.
What kind of acids would you have up here?
Well, primarily you're looking at sulfuric acid because you can see by the yellows, I mean, just behind us here, these lovely bright yellow and orange colours. There's lots of sulfur crystals in here. And one of the major gases that you get off the volcanic rocks is SO2, sulfur dioxide. So clearly these sulfur springs are evidence that the hydrothermal system is still active. So at depth, there must be hot, boiling magma, which is driving this salt engine factory. Yeah.
Dougal's mission here is to find evidence of how active the fault system is beneath the Dalol salt flats. So he's testing the acidity of the pools with a pH meter.
Let's see if we can get a reading from it.
The more acidic they are, the higher the influence of the magma below.
You know, it's off the scale, absolutely off the scale. It won't read the pH because the pH is so extreme.
A few years ago, these acid pools were tested and had a pH of 2. Now they've hit 0, about as acidic as it's possible to get. It means that the magma is highly active and could erupt again soon. For Dougal, it's more evidence that this whole part of Africa is getting more volcanic as the Earth's crust splits apart.
The Earth's crust here is really, really thin. And it's really, really thin because beneath my feet, we're at the boundary between 3 major structures in the Earth's crust. And these structures are literally tearing themselves apart. And when it tears itself apart, it gives it cracks and structures which molten magma can work its way through to the Earth's surface as volcanoes.
So as it sinks further into the volcanic underworld, the hottest place on Earth is only going to get hotter.
Well, this is it. We're leaving Dalol. As you can see, all the vehicles are being packed up, and suddenly we're not going to be on foot anymore. We're going to be in these trucks, heading south to what is going to be our base camp now for the next few weeks.
Our destination is the village of Kusrawat. The journey should take 4 hours if nothing goes wrong. And that's a big if, because we're heading out across some of the most rugged, hostile terrain in this part of the world. And that's saying something.
We have a stopped vehicle, we have a stopped vehicle. All vehicles stop now, thank you. Come on, keep going, come on, push.
It's too hot to be doing this.
I'm beginning to see the wisdom of using camels in this terrain. Camels don't have alternators, wheels that get stuck.
They don't need power steering.
They don't need power steering or pulling out by a rope.
Oh, this is becoming a bit of a chore now. We've been going for nearly, well, two and a half hours. We've made probably about, I'd say, 5 kilometres, maybe 6 kilometres. It's not going particularly well.
But it'll be worth it, because we'll finally get to meet the people who live out here permanently, the Afar communities of the Danakil Depression. I'm incredibly excited because this is why I'm here, to work with and learn from these unique people, to discover how they survive from day to day. By the time we get to the village, it's dark, and we have no idea what kind of place we'll be calling home for the next few weeks, or what kind of reception we're going to get.
Hello.
Hi. Will you say, from all of us, this is very special for us, and to say a huge thank you for allowing us to come and stay on their land and with them.
We make congratulations to you, and we love you. Okay, we are glad to meet you. We love you.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So we needn't have worried. Not only do they love us, they've even laid on some traditional dancing. And though it's meant to be just for the men, I'm so glad to be here, there's nothing going to keep me off that dance floor.
I have to jump! Not like this! Hang on, see? Hang on! Oh my goodness, I've scored and I've only been here 10 minutes! Good? This is when you really feel like I'm in Ethiopia. I'm with, I'm gonna find out about these people. I feel like you really are being kind of welcomed into this big extended family, and it suddenly feels after the walk and everything that we have really arrived.
It's 5 a.m. and the start of our first day living with the Afar people in Kusrawat.
This is really going to be our first time that we can kind of understand how the Afar live day to day in this incredibly harsh environment.
I'll be living with the women, while Steve and team biologist Richard will spend the day with the village chief.
Assalamu alaikum. Richard.
Richard Mgali.
I'm Steve.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, Richard. My name is Gilsa.
Gilsa.
The Afar are reputed to be